for a couple
Thing up,
minutes to
bring
talk
that
stuff.
thing up. How we doing today, man? How we doing today? What's going on with everybody?
Oh, Gucci, bro. Gucci. Gucci. I'm good.
Man, I titled this little segment "First Step," man. Like,
What's the link? What's the link before we go?
it's on. It should be broadcasting on the YouTube on the Black Plate channel.
All right, bet. All right, go ahead. Do your thing, bro.
Yeah, man. Just first step, man. Like addressing how to get to these problems. Like we just trying to keep moving forward, man. We just gonna got a see what we can got a learn each day and every day with each other and from each other. You know what I mean?
True, true, true. Um, I know for a fact our last conversation, we didn't really get into the mud of it. So I think
She got money. She got money.
no, but we didn't really get into the full scope of the situation. All right, so I know you said like this topic is first step. So first step of what particularly?
What are we all looking for, man? Freedom, right?
Yes.
In the sense of financial freedom, in the sense of social freedom, in the sense of economic, and just being able to accomplish what we want to do. You know what I mean? And be happy in the sense of our achievement, man. To me, that is the ultimate freedom in the pursuit of happiness, right? That's the American way, right?
True, true.
So I'm just saying, like, we were looking for answers to the black situation, and what's the best way that we as a people can be free?
Facts. Well, uh, me personally, if I want to attack that, I would say, my bad. I had to get my lighting a little bit. I was a little dark, but the first thing would be going towards more of a logical thinking than emotional. So if our people want to be free, we have to release ourselves from that emotional the emotional constraint that we have. We have we have this ability to, especially in this generation. Matter of fact, only in this generation where we actually play a victim where we're not victims. So I say that's a that would be a first step of getting out this hell that we find ourselves in. Because technically in America, it wouldn't be as bad as we portray it to be if we weren't just holding on to the emotional constraints that we have, like those emotional shackles.
I definitely agree with the emotional chains, man. That can really cause a lot of cognitive biases because we feel a certain type of way. Um,
True.
that's not easy to overcome either, man. Especially like I know from a personal stance, friends and family get me worked up.
Mm-hmm.
So strangers and you know what I mean, and usual dialect I can deal with, but friends and family got it's a whole nother playing field with me. Yeah, man. I'm trying to work on that.
And that's the thing that a lot of people, especially in our community, that we deal with, because we come from a structure where it's family first. I'm not saying anything's wrong with that. Let me make that clear. But we come from a structure that it is our family's opinion that dictates our lives. But that can't be the case when we're dealing with real life issues day to day by ourselves. So we have to take the things that we deal with from a what's the word I'm looking for? From a personal level. And we have to we have to be able to decipher those things before we make a broad jump to conclusions. Like we can't say that America is a totally racist place where black people are unable to succeed when we have people like Tyler Perry, LeBron James, Oprah Winfrey. It's a personal goal for you to strive. And everybody is not going to be millionaires and billionaires. Let's get that straight. Only 10% of the American population actually makes over $400,000. So we have to understand, especially with us being fed social media daily and seeing rich people daily and all these beautiful models and all this extra stuff, we have to understand that that's just a facade. That's not real life. Real life is struggle. The human being existence is built off of struggle. Men and women got together and was able to beat the elements, able to beat the wild, because we stuck together and we understood that it was a struggle. So it just goes off of the thinking. We can't be as a people focused on the past of what our people had to go through, especially when we're thriving in a situation like this as we are. Because America, I don't care what nobody tells me, and factually speaking, America is the best country under the sun since the conception of human beings.
Miss Magic, man, what's going on, man?
What's up, Glass? How you doing?
I'm all good, sis, man. You kind of quiet. I want to see what you got the yay or nay in these aspects, man.
Um, I definitely believe that we are much more emotionally charged, much more emotionally driven as a society. I can only speak in this time now, but in comparing it to like earlier generations, like my grandmother, you feel me? She wasn't as sensitive as me. You get what I'm saying? Like she had tougher skin.
Right.
You had to be tough then.
You had to be tough then, and you weren't provided with so many excuses and coddled so much. Everybody didn't get a participation trophy. You
Facts,
literally
facts.
had to for the best.
I love that reference.
So what's that?
I love that reference. You don't get a participation trophy. In order to get a
Yeah,
trophy, you got to
I
succeed
heard
and
that
be accepted.
what else, but yeah, like our generation is really coddled and pacified through a lot. We have been. So when we're out here trying to navigate in the world, and a lot of like last how you were saying, like business is cut and dry. It's like no emotion with involved in it. We aren't able to make the best business decisions for our lives and our families and ourselves because we're so emotionally driven to the point where we'll shoot ourselves in the foot with opportunities because of how we feel about it. You know what I'm saying?
True.
And
Facts.
society does nothing but reinforce that just so that we are not aware of the choices that we are making. You know what I'm saying? I feel like the best way to try to get away from that is limiting your time on social media or taking in media in general because that can create a lot of fodder. Like it can create thoughts that you were never thinking before just because you're seeing it within your subconscious. You don't even know what you're processing until a much later time or until you're acting on it. And that's another thing that they did not have back in those times. So we have to find a way to, as entertaining as it is, as fun as it is, we got to try to find a way to like separate ourselves from that like energy, emotionally charged entertainment and media, so that we can think for ourselves.
I did that. I did
Yes.
that. I would compound that with I was thinking on that meme that we had looked at that had shared that experiment. TJ, I don't know if you recall me ever saying though that I feel like we as human beings have been domesticated.
I can dig that.
And
We didn't have that conversation, But bro,
And that experiment, that Universe 25 experiment where they domesticated the rats,
yes,
and
yes,
the results of that experiment led to what we call ghettos or projects. Give me a second.
and matter of fact, because I wanna pick off what
I was
he
just
was
about to ask
saying
you,
because what'd you say? What'd
do
you
you
say,
know the
Shay?
year that experiment took place?
No,
Do you know what year that experiment took place?
no, I don't. When did it take place?
Yeah, I'm gonna look that up really quick. I don't know. I'm gonna look it up really quick just so like we can think back and reference the different changes that happened from now to then, you know.
But it's funny that he brought up that, and this is funny. Like they deal with rats because of our genes. They match a lot of times in our thought process, whatever. But even when you deal with that experiment, and you can do another experiment where they did a rat utopia, where they gave rats all the stuff that they needed, a certain particular group of rats all the stuff they needed, and they gave another particular group of rats nothing. And you've seen how the rats reacted to it because they pretty much, the rats who was given everything, they pretty much was susceptible to anything, like so to speak. They were willing to give up their normal day-to-day activities in order to get these treats. And it shows that now in today that people do the same thing. Like we're willing to give up freedoms in order to be safe, quote unquote safe.
Facts.
We're willing to just be like, you know what? The government got us, so we don't have to do extra stuff because the government got us.
Right.
But that's the thing that I was talking about with human beings. Human beings are built for struggle. So one thing in this experiment, it showed that after a while, people and rats need some type of change because they get bored. So they are susceptible to pretty much crashing the board in order to get some type of change. It doesn't matter how destructive they have to be, but they will be destructive in order to get a change, in order to fix something.
I would have to disagree with that and say it's not the change that is needed. It is the unspoken agreement between the interactions of a species that I will provide this for you in exchange for this. And that project, and I call it a project for a reason, because they call our places where we live projects, where they ran that same experiment, but it was no longer an experiment at this point. They knew what they was doing, so now it turned from an experiment to a project.
Mm-hmm.
But in essence, they took away a man's like purpose. They take away purpose in life, a purpose in life. You know what I mean? This is why you get suicide rates, because people feel like they have no purpose. When you got a certain system that's finite and enclosed, and all the spots get filled in, people feel left out, and there's no need for me. You know what I mean? Like I don't belong. You don't have to have me because you got such and such or such and such. But when you have just the nature and the wild, there is that element don't exist. You know what I mean? That contract is needed between man and woman, between man and nature. That you provide, I provide, and we have an equal balance. But this third outside entity, this middleman, comes in and negates that unspoken and natural agreement. That's what I see. You know what I mean? That's what this thing proving. because with the rats, it was like once the ones who had high society or formed a little society and fit into their roles, the other rats coming along just didn't fit in. You ain't have nowhere to go. And that's the same thing we see today in local society. And they make it so finite because a city is only so big. You can only have so many jobs within a city. But on Earth, you can have a man creating a living for as much as you can sustain within the land. You know what I mean? Within the trees and within nature to be able to grow food and use cattle and stuff like that, just having enough space to sustain himself. But the introduction of government removes that. Now you got a lot of men who feel like, well, I'm not needed, I'm finna just do this. Then that leaves a lot of women who feel unprotected now because they think that the government is going to protect them.
It's a trickle down effect.
Yeah, it just and I see why
the kids gonna be affected after that. After women affected,
definitely because the kids are not going to be disciplined because they be able to complain to the government about their parents, as we see today. Like the government becomes that intermediary, taking away the natural agreements that we have, that the father is the intermediary between the mother and the child. When the child is being disobedient, who the mama finna turn to? The father. But now she turns to the government. You know what I mean? And that little aspect,
and we seen that happen.
And that little aspect right there is just like, how do we fix that natural agreement? How do we undomesticate people and get us back to a sense of having to be tougher? You know what I mean? Have that tougher skin to where we need to feel like we're doing something. You know what I mean? We're useful, where we feel like we're contributing, because that's what a man really wants in essence, just to feel like no man. I ain't gonna say that. I'm gonna just say no man wants to feel like he's useless. You know what I mean? That's one thing. No man wants to feel like he's just there just to be there. You know what I mean? Everybody has that I'm the man complex to a certain extent. You know what I mean? But nobody wants to just be made themselves feel like, or just in a group where they feel like they're unwanted.
What do you say, Shay?
Because my wife, she watches our podcast. She enjoys it. She has like a lot to say. You know what I'm saying? Join the panel. You know what I'm saying? But one question that she did have, as far as government interference and how some of us feel like government interference causes like the destruction of Black people and the Black family. One thing that she had to offer as insight, she said that it was a lot of Black men at that time, and a lot of men who were willing to go out and go that extra mile, whether it meant having 2 and 3 jobs or whatever the case may be, so that would have to be a stipend that their family would have to depend on, you know. So the question that I have is, what are some type of ways that we can come together to relieve the social pressures that come along with taking care of a home? Because at the end of the day, it's still gonna take us coming together to try and solve this problem, you know. And a lot of things came along as far as the government was concerned. A lot of these things were put into place in the 30s and 40s and 50s, and they weren't put in place for us. You know what I'm saying?
Facts.
And by the time we started taking advantage of it, that's when they changed the rules and said that the men were allowed to be in the home. But what type of ways can we come together? Because I feel like you said, like no man wants to feel unwanted or whatever. A lot of things that I saw when I was growing up, my mom made a lot of money, or significantly more money than her mates at the time. You know what I'm saying? But
right.
Instead of that being like a teamwork situation, because there's no telling why that man didn't make enough money, whether he fell in or he didn't finish high school or no matter what, you know what I'm saying? It's no telling this man made that pick, you know what I'm saying, to where he's not on the same income level as you. However, instead of some women like taking that on the chin, you know, they'll belittle their man. You feel me? They'll belittle their man in front of the kids. They'll belittle the man. And I see this to this day, like aside from me, they'll belittle that man in front of kids, in front of their friends, like, you know what I'm saying? So what type of practices can you put in place to take away from the different types of ego that is involved with men and women interaction?
I mean, I would say the mentality, because there's no rules on how we look at each other as the opposite sex. So what naturally makes a woman look at a man like he a bum? You know
the ability, the natural ability that a man was born with was
If you ask it,
not even the ability. The job that she was born with was the ability to protect and provide. That was our job, was to protect and provide.
Facts.
If that gets taken away from us, then what is the use of men?
Yeah.
And I kind of want to. Let me answer this question too, because I kind of want to. I want to answer this question and go back to what you said too. Because quick one, feminism. Kill feminism in the black community. There's no reason for feminism to be in the black community.
Easier said than done.
But it may not be, because a lot of black women are waking up. But what I'm saying is, when feminism got introduced into the black community, it was terrible. And the same thing if we talk about the government's role in the black community. I have this theory. That the government practices on black people in order to see if the rest of society would be susceptible to these things.
Certain things. I mean, I would say it do it.
Feminism.
I say the government do it to their own people, which is.
I will tell you right now.
Yeah.
Feminism, abortion, slavery, church, the LGBT community. What else? Welfare.
I mean, that just all the
hip hop, rap music. Change the culture, because what we're going through right now is a culture war. This is a war on culture. So
that's the mentality.
Exactly. So the first step is to fight the mentality. And I would feel that the second step would be bring back fathers. We were taught to do things by our fathers. They were the strength in the community.
But I mean, now you got to look at this too, though. Fathers got to be setting examples. It's not just about being there. It's about being there, being an example. You know what I mean? Like when you see,
bring logic.
So when you say bring back fathers, the fathers got to be on something. You know what I mean?
That's why it's the second step.
Now, I would say also that in addressing what we need to do, is never clear to people on how to do it, like how to change mentalities, how to get fathers back in the household, how do we make families popular, as opposed
don't believe the government.
I mean, not even just that, because
people or social media.
People are short-minded. You know what I mean? People are short-minded. People will hate a person one day, then in the media change their whole image, and they'll love them the next day, and vice versa. You know what I mean? They'll love a nigga one day, media say one thing, they'll hate the nigga the next day.
Look at Dave Chappelle.
Right. You know what I mean? So it's all about how the person is cast in the light with some people, and they're cognizant, because you have a lot of people who have a bias in them just off of their emotion alone. Like I mean, these people are loyal. Don't get me wrong. It's a loyalty to a fault, to where once they pick a side, they stick with their side. And unless it's just like something that's slapping them in the face, is really no logic or reasoning with them to get them to see another point of view. And people will feel literally attacked for challenging their point of view. even if you said nothing about them, people will feel attacked and take it personally and be ready to defend themselves because they feel like what you said was an attack.
And
So this is
that's
this
an
is
emotional battle.
exactly,
So
bro.
that's what I'm saying. You can't argue with anyone. You can't debate anyone. You can't try to convince anyone who's running off of emotions.
Right. So how do we get people to operate on facts over feelings?
Honestly, you wait for them to get attacked where they're at. Because a lot of people, like even today, we're seeing things happen where people are like, for a while everybody was letting things run amok and everybody can do what they want. It's free living and this, that, and the third. But now a lot of parents are opening up and seeing what's going on with the school system, with the stuff they're trying to teach in the school system and the things they're trying to hide in the school system where school board members and stuff coming out saying that we don't have to tell you what we're teaching your children. So logically, parents are thinking like, oh, no, you have to because you wasn't in the room when I made them. So you can't tell me what to do with them. So people are waking up, but the only thing that we see in the media constantly, every day is individuals saying how people who think that maybe kids shouldn't be transgender are wrong. But on the majority aspect of it, like people actually see that no, maybe we're going a little too far. Maybe like we're getting to a time where people are going to draw the line in the sand. And that's what they're doing right now. So what we see on the media isn't what's going on in real life.
I mean, I can agree to that. Man, Madge, why you so quiet, man?
Oh man, I'm just taking everything in, and plus I got a little lag too, so I don't want to be over talking anyone.
Okay. I mean, I just wanted to hear what you had to say.
But man, as far as our community goes with feminism, y'all keep saying like things were taken away from the black man, and that's where y'all confusing me. And I get what y'all saying, but like I feel like what was taken from the black man was taken so long ago. You feel me? Whatever it was, I don't know, and I don't even feel like it has anything to do with the relationship between black men and black women. It might have something to do with the relationship between black men and white men. You feel me? Because whatever that position is, black women didn't take it away from black men. You feel me? But I also feel that there's a resentment there. Well, you know what I'm saying? But and all the black woman can do, given the opportunities available, is try to make the best out of the situation. You know?
No.
But what can we do about the pride and what you call it when you just demean somebody and make them feel worthless or whatever? What can we do to try to restore that feeling back into black men to make them want to take what's theirs back if it's been taken from them?
Stop beating us up.
I mean,
stop beating us up.
Nah, I wouldn't say that, bro. See, because coming from a black man, I wouldn't say that. You know what I mean? My position,
I'm a black man.
I know that. So that's what I'm saying. My take on it would be different. I wouldn't say stop beating us up. You know what I mean? Like I don't know what your personal experience been with females and how you might have established your bonds with females. You know what I mean? And mine's maybe a little bit different. Like I'm just saying mine's may be a little bit different in why we had, you know what I mean, our bonds and why our bonds may have been a disconnect. You know what I mean? Your disconnects might be in a different range of reasons. You feel me? So what I'm saying is like for me in general, goddamn, I would say that disconnect goes back on a natural level. I don't even look at it as if it like the win factor, because when you look at how we interact on a natural level, take away personal feelings, you know what I mean? Take away government, you take away Kroger's, you just got two human
You just
beings
got that
here
bond.
on Earth.
You just got that
What
bond.
is their purpose for interaction? What is their reason for interaction? You know what I mean?
They
Outside
usually
of
show it at nighttime.
not even just that. Shout out, like, one, you would be alone. Jay, take it like that. You would be alone. Shout out. Nobody who really wants to be alone. Nobody really. Everybody wants a companion, at least a one person that somebody that they can relate to.
They need
Two,
we're
the
social creatures. We're social creatures.
We're natural social creatures. Shout out, like,
that's why people being solitary confinement go crazy, because we need human interaction.
When you have got the factor that, okay, as human beings, we are naturally self-preserving. When you get into a dangerous situation, you look for the best way to save yourself.
Exit. We need an exit.
We need an exit, or we need to fight. One of the two. If our back is against the wall, we coming out swinging, or you gonna freeze up. Fight or flight. That's a natural response. So when you got just a man and a woman, the natural survival response is, I need this other person so I can have a kid so we can keep going. Because if I don't have a kid, then I'm not gonna exist no more. Like, in no aspects. I know my body gonna die, but at least I have kids, a part of me is still gonna be here. You know what I mean? Like, that's how we live eternally. That's how we continue to remain immortal, God, and because we reproduce and continue to multiply. You feel me? Like, okay, so then on a natural level, still, all personal shit aside, who between a man and a woman, a man knows how to do physical shit that a woman can't.
Mm-hmm.
When it comes to hunting, when it comes to building, when it comes to just
matter of fact, not even just knowing it, just the ability to do it.
Nah, that's what I'm saying. The skill is going to be more fit for a man. Not saying that a woman can't do it.
We can live stuff,
but yeah, just natural build. The skill is more fit for a man. Taking away all the domestication that we have today, that's provided for you by an outside factor. Now, when you have to get it for yourself, it's just the two of y'all to depend on each other, and two heads are better than one. Everybody know this. So this is an unspoken agreement that we have. This is not just about like, oh, I like you. This is about we survival.
It's told.
I mean, this is, we know this coming out the womb. We just know they got interacting with each other. This is an unspoken agreement. And I say unspoken because there's no book on it. There's no
There's literally a book on it. It's called the Bible.
Man, outside of religious aspects, I'm talking about just human beings within nature,
evolutionary,
without the design of what we call civilization, because that's where domestication began, when civilization was created. So once you have these goddamn factors at play that remove all the natural interactions between human beings, then you get a lot of unnatural occurrences. And that's just a simple fact that has been proven by that experiment, as we touched on earlier.
And also, I just want to add, because I want to address the question fully, because you answered it, Glass, but I want to address it fully. Men and women, when it came to the Black community, it got messed up during Lyndon B. Johnson's era, where he introduced the Great New Deal. What the Great New Deal did was it gave benefits to Black women. Not even just Black women, because more white people are on welfare than Black people. But it's because there's more white people in this country, but that's neither here nor there. But it was geared towards Black people in order to split up the family. Matter of fact, I'm not even gonna say in order to split up the family, but it did it. Regardless, it did it. And beforehand, we had more people married in the Black community post-slavery than we do now. Like in the 1920s and stuff. The government had a hand in that. So I can't just say that the government, I can just throw them away, because they did that. But the thing that we have to do is take accountability for our actions. Black women chose to marry the government. That's just a fact. And we're dealing with the repercussions. Because this is a cultural war. And they've been waging this war before we were born. 30, 40 years before we were even thought of. So I can't just be like, no, government ain't doing it. Because they did it for a reason, because it's a plan. They're playing chess with us while we're playing Marco Polo.
I mean, that would mean you would have people to assume that we have an opponent. I'm not gonna say an enemy. We have an opponent.
We do.
So
we do.
And I would say that the destruction of the family began way before Lyndon B. Johnson, as you said, my brother. I mean, that was probably something that was just thrown on.
Oh no, I could have went back to Franklin D. Roosevelt.
And
Johnson was the only one that came up with the Great New Deal that actually introduced.
Well, I would say that because they was trying to destroy the image of the black man in front of the black woman. Because back in slavery time, they had what they call butt breaking. And you know what butt break. We all know what that is, right?
We don't.
Okay, so yeah, exactly. So they already had their methods and their mode of trying to destroy the black man and the image and the minds of black women. And I mean, and that
logically speaking, we have to ask why.
Because
it's
a way.
The protector and the provider.
Oh yeah, definitely.
If I can kill off the one who's going to teach the next generation, I won. It's not. They don't want us. They want the kids. This is why they keep putting out crazy stuff to the kids. This is why the sexual revolution happened. Because if people paid attention to the sexual revolution, they will understand that the experiments that were done in the sexual revolution wasn't for grown-ups to have sex. The father of sexual revolution, Dr. Alfred Kinsey, I believe his name, he did pedophilic experiments. This was a thing that make it comfortable for the kids. That's why they're doing stuff for the kids now. That's why you see Gonzo from the Muppets come out as transsexual. That's why you see
what? Wait, hold on, whoa, rewind.
Yeah,
rewind.
No,
When did this occur?
2 months ago, I did a video on it. Go look at Royal Family Studios and go holler on This Could Be News, because he came out this way. Mr. Ratburn from Author came out as gay.
Oh yeah, I heard about Ratburn, but you just blew my mind with Gonzo, bro. Hold on, bro. I used to fuck with Gonzo, bro. Hold on, bro. Whoa.
But that's how. But
whoa, childhood ruined, bro. Man,
Superman's son, Robin, bisexual. They did a whole gay pride parade on Blue's Clues.
Bruh, I just
Mr. Ratburn married a dude on Author.
Yeah, I heard about that, man.
I have no issue with the LGBT community. But if I look at it and I see you pushing sexuality on kids, can we? And I can't even say nothing about it.
Hey, I just seen a very clever argument, man, where it's not so much against them trying to come out with an image that reflects them or reflects people who have those desires in the media. It's so much as why change already established icons to represent something that they originally don't,
which is dumb.
If you're gonna instead of just coming out with your own and coming out with your, your creative and elaborate goddamn design to represent what you feel how you want to be represented in the media, you got to destroy something that people already hold dear and near.
Yep. And while at the same time, they're even same thing with James Bond when they tried to make Idris Elba or even a woman 007. It's like, bro, you can just have a character or create a character that's already like this and make it a strong character. But that's the trick that they're playing. It's all a game. It is literally all a game, and that's why I say that black people are the ones who they tested on, because they know black people run off of emotions. So if they're able to get to our emotions, they're able to change society.
I disagree, bro. That why that gay stuff started with them first, bro. And that whole song, I kissed the girl and I liked it. No. I don't think old girl was black when she came out with that. Man.
I'm gonna tell you why. I'm gonna tell you why I don't agree with that. It is because that
1984 Orwellian type game playing Mr. Brett Clark say.
Matter of fact, Clay Aiken. You remember Clay Aiken? American Idol?
Nah.
Clay Aiken, little white boy. He was homosexual.
The name sound familiar. I can't put a face to it though.
He was homosexual, and they had problems trying to push him. Same thing with Adam something. I forgot his name. But Lil Nas X is changing shit.
I mean, hold on now. Hold on. You can't get it all on him. That nigga, Young Thug, been laying the way for this nigga to come out.
You just named another black person.
But again, I already told you though, it was started before then with the I Kissed a Girl, and they had celebrities already on it.
How many black men you seen in dresses?
Since Tyler Perry? Since
before Tyler Perry.
Martin.
We're the test dummies.
Jamie Foxx.
We have
hold on, no. Saturday, that was a ritual for Saturday Night Live, bro. Black or white, boy. You had to put on the dread. Jim Carrey.
Yeah, a couple of them. Bro. But who do you remember?
The dread thing is just something like that ritualistic with that.
Shay, who do you remember?
See, black people don't have no
money
or nothing like that. So black people are the most acceptable people in entertainment.
Fact.
And who runs entertainment?
So as soon as black people see something on TV or something on the radio, they finna jump, they mimic it, they finna do it, and they finna make it hot. You know what I'm saying? Because they feel like that could be their feelings. So we take the culture that we see off of TV as soon as they promote it to us, and we take it and run with it.
And we cultivate it to our own
media outlets, but we the ones that.
And
I missed that last part. Say, run that back one more time.
Spin on it and sitting it back out into the street and making. I said we be putting our own little spin on it with the media and taking it back out into the streets and making it more and more popular. Not thinking nothing of it. You feel me?
True.
We continue to allow ourselves influenced by media to the point where we influence our children with the media. Simultaneously, how many people sit as a family and watch TV with their kids? If they even still do that anymore.
They don't.
I don't know. But that's an indoctrination that we keep allowing to happen. We keep subjecting ourselves to. So it's a lose-lose situation on our end.
Tyler Perry made $1 billion dressing up like a woman. Give me one white boy who did it.
Billion? I don't know about billion, but I'm saying you got white boys.
Give me one white boy who made millions on it.
Jim Carrey, break. I told you he started doing that junk Saturday night.
I'm sorry, you said name his character. Name his character that went through.
On Saturday Night Live, he played a female all the time. He was dressed up like a woman in that movie. What was that movie? The Pet Detective or something. He had them pigtails and stuff.
He wore a tutu.
I'm just saying, bro. Come on now.
He dresses up.
Come on. I'm just saying, though. I'm just saying, bro. I'm just being fair. I'm just trying to be fair. I see it on both sides. It's just something. Now, this nigga, he did market the hell out of the old woman spit. But okay,
There's none. There's none. Who runs media?
Now, no, that's what I'm saying.
The background. I'm saying who runs media as far as who you see on the forefront. You see black folks. Who runs the NBA?
I would disagree with that, Shadow. It depends on the area you live in, because you can control who and what is broadcasted to where. So it's not necessarily, that's not always true.
Tyler Perry made $1 billion wearing a dress. What white boy
he didn't make $1 billion wearing a dress, bro.
Wearing a dress.
He didn't make $1 billion wearing a dress, bro. He made $1 million some dollars wearing a dress. He made $1 billion by making smart investments with the money he made.
What white boy do you know made millions of dollars wearing a dress?
I'm just saying, bro. It's all of these. Niggas wear dresses, bro.
I'm not answering myself. There is literally none. That's what I'm saying. They tested out with us.
I disagree with you on that still, bro.
Our first step is, logically speaking, our first step is to be logical.
What I say what I agree upon, they push it way harder on us because God ain't. I think me and you had this conversation, Shay. No matter how much effeminate man can defend himself or even just overpower the next person, the presence or the image of being effeminate is less threatening.
It is. And they try to make us less threatening. Why? Because we're brolic men.
Who gonna be afraid of you when you effeminate? It's just how it is. It's just like you're not a threat.
White people are scared of us because, like, white people are scared of men, black men, because we exist. We have this presence that you feel us in the room. The most popular genre on this planet is hip hop. Hip hop, it produces what? Black men. It is a test on black men. We're a test subject. Tuskegee, syphilis.
I mean, I just told you, Shadow, they do shit, bro. Yeah, they do shit. But I would say for this specific instance, we weren't the test subjects, bro. We were not. We were the whole experiment. Nigga. We was like, once they gathered the data and then did all the tests, then we were the project. That's what we were in that aspect. For some things, yes, I do agree with you. Huh?
We're still the test, because
I mean, you always collecting data and analyzing it.
Where does civilization come from?
Look, intelligence 101, bro. You always collect data, my nigga. Always.
Where does civilization come from? Can you get a white boy?
Now that depends on what you believe. Now
I'm doing straight science. Can you get a white man and make a black boy? Yes or no?
You say what now?
Can you get a white man and make a black boy from that white man's seed?
With a black woman, eventually, yeah. If they made black enough times, bro, yeah, that white gonna switch over, but they still gonna be of the same genetic
lineage. I know that's
like that.
not
they
right,
still gonna have that European marker in them, regardless.
My family, I have 5 siblings,
right,
and we're all different shades of black.
Right.
I got an older sister that is 2 times darker than me. I got a younger sister, your color shade. And I got a baby brother that is damn near white. And that's from the same 2 black parents.
I mean but you gotta also look at the fact that of their lineage too, and where they got in their genes.
But what I'm saying is, we know that civilization started from black people. We don't have to play, but we know it came from Africa because that's science. That is science. I'm not arguing about nothing that has already been proven.
Okay, I mean, it's not an argument. I'm just trying to see where you're going with this.
No, I'm saying that if we know that it came from this way, they're going to test on us, because in order to make society susceptible to things, you have to test the quote unquote strongest individuals. You have to see if it works with these individuals in order to push it. Same thing with any type of communism, anything like that. They made sure that it went well with the public, with the general public, with the rich folks in society, with the people who are the majority. They made sure it went well with them, and that's how they was able to push it. So you're gonna start with you have to take on the biggest monster, because if you don't, then you're gonna lose. You don't want to deal with them later. So what I'm saying is, they, in these last 60, 70 years, I'm gonna say they. I don't want to put a name on it. I don't want to say Illuminati or government or anything like that. But there has been an experiment that is coming to fruition because of the simple fact that it's a chess game. So somebody has called checkmate sooner or later. So they had did this practice where they practice on the culture. They changed our culture. Rap music started with party music, and now we're killing everybody. Black people, we started with a family unit because we came from a situation of slavery where there was a whole society against us. But then the government got involved and they said, no, the black men ain't with the black women. Y'all crazy. I don't know why y'all believe this, even though we went through 200 years of dealing with shit. But how it's been mapped out and how they're doing it, they literally attacked the strongest individuals. They said, you know what? We're going to attack not just black people, but black men, and not even just black men, but men in general, because that's when they moved in feminism. You have to get the men out. When feminism came in and they moved the men out, that's when they're starting to attack the kids, if you haven't noticed.
Okay, let me ask you this.
It's a plan.
Feminism started before, like, African American music was like the mainstream.
Yeah.
So even then, we were trying to follow and be like what we heard on the record player and all that good shit.
Yep. But feminism didn't move. As a matter of fact, feminism didn't get anywhere until they invited black women into feminism. I'm telling you, bro. It's there, bro. They had to invite black women into feminism for it to move, because you need black people in order to move a civil debate. Because, like I told you before, this country is black and white. But keep going.
I completely disagree with that, but go ahead.
No, I'm saying it is black and white, because when the Constitution was established, it wasn't just established for white men, because it said all men are created equal. It said all men are created equal.
That mean
it didn't specifically say all white men. It didn't specifically say all Native American. It said all men, because this country was created.
And in that same document, they classified you as 3/5 of a man. So yeah.
Do you know why?
Because you were not considered a man, because you were not equal to them, and that's why you were able to be put into slavery.
I'll give you a quick history.
Legal arguments to be conducted.
I will give you a quick little reason why.
I know why, man. But I want to,
because you sugarcoated it.
No, I ain't sugarcoat nothing. These are the documents, bro. This is exactly what it is, bro.
We was counted as 3/5 of a man because of the simple fact that the Southerners, they tried to use their slaves as tools to get more representation in Congress.
That wasn't until later, though.
No, that was when it happened. They literally tried to use. They tried to use black men and black women. They tried to use slaves to help them with their population to get more representation in the Congress, and then they pretty much came to an agreement that said, you know what? We're going to let you use them, but you can only use 3/5 of them. So it wasn't so much as a racist thing. It was more so of a compromise, because of the simple fact that it's like you using your car as a tool to help you vote.
No.
That's literally what it was.
Nah,
That's
man.
like
Look,
like that's literally what it is.
regardless of how you try to twist it and tangle it, you were not on equal footing with these so-called men, and we were not classified as men. But this was what they used to justify their position and how to maintain the integrity of the document that all men are created equally at the same time keeping slaves.
Well, then why would George Washington free his slaves on his deathbed? Why would Thomas Jefferson already say that slavery was wrong? And these are our forefathers saying that slavery was wrong, and he was trying to abolish it, but he was unable to because of what was going on in the country. Because you can't just throw stuff up in the air and just say get rid of it, because that's not how stuff works. Because we're doing that right now, and we see how crazy the country is going.
Ain't no telling what type of contract George Washington may have had with his slaves. They may have
Literally, we have documentation.
They may have bought their freedoms at his
No,
death.
they were free on his deathbed because that's the only way he was able to do it. We literally have documentation. I'm not gonna argue on that I'm not gonna argue about that.
Again,
I don't want to focus on stuff that's already been proven.
that has not been proven. I mean, if you got the document to prove it, man, screen share, bring it up, man.
I don't know how to do that, but I will send you
screen share and send me the link. I'll pull it up.
I will.
Yeah, but Miss Magic, man, what's going on, Miss Magic? What you thinking, man?
Man, I feel like a lot of times what's taken from the black man was taken so long ago, and a lot of times the black man and the black woman get caught up in trying to compete with our white counterparts on a certain type of level. We want what they have. You feel? So with when you keep saying the feminist movement, that was really a ploy that we got caught up into. And we have to be careful these days of different tactics of division that separate us more than bring us together. You know what I'm saying? Just like whether it's the vaccine, whether it's LGBT, you know what I'm saying? A lot of tools are just vibes, you know? Like I was telling my wife, you know, we take in social media or whatever's going on, we take in pop culture. And a lot of times she starts to have strong feelings when people say certain things like about like gay things or whatever, right? But I have to remind her, and now she's also starting to see on her own, especially since watching like the Dave Chappelle thing. Like, look, we're not part of that protected class, you know? We don't receive any type of special benefits. You get what I'm saying? You know why? Because we're black. So people trigger us and divide us from what we're supposed to be unified for. You get what I'm saying? Because what reason do I have to fight with you? You know what I'm saying? You're a black man in America. You know what I'm saying? I'm a black woman in America. We share the same struggles. But if we allow something like feminism, you know what I'm saying? Me feeling I'm a feminist or me feeling like I'm LGBT, you feel me? To separate us from what we're supposed to have going on, we're going to be in a constant state of disarray. And that's what they hope for. That's why we keep getting presented with these type of things, but we don't realize that that's like what they call it, that's all like a false flag or something. You know what I'm saying? This stuff is not even real, because the white women at their house, but they doing what they supposed to do at the crib. They not having these type of problems, whether she making money or not. You feel me? She doing what she treating her man like the man, you feel me? And they haven't living happily ever after. They getting married when they go off to college, it's no problem. But we sitting there holding the bag, thinking that we trying to play catch up, or we trying to keep up with that, when we not even realizing the game that's being ran on this. It's like a big game, you know what I'm saying?
I mean, and I would only respond to that. I would say you looking at the right now and not the overall big picture, because certain class of people are able to enjoy certain luxuries because of certain voices that spoke out during certain movements. We are able to have today the Tyler Perrys because of the Martin Luther Kings who got out there and gave up his life to make a way for black folks to have a life in a white society. You know what I mean? White women today are able to sit back, chill, and relax, or just get a job and decide to do what they want to do because of the feminist movement. Because it is hard pressed to say that things would be the same today if these movements did not get things going in that direction. And I say they still persist in their own way today, because even though there is not a feminist, well, there still are some feminist groups out, but they're not as loud as they once were. They still have their ideologies that are being pushed into society, because as I think we covered in another episode or another talk, we have songs that promote feminism in a
So women,
sense.
but like nothing. That's why that was like a divisive tool just placed within our community that only impacted community and did not impact other community, our white communities in the same type of way, just because of the type of imagery that was presented of it for us and what it was supposed to stand for us, aside from being a woman. So like, I feel like women's, because you got to think about it, like when they went to war, women had no choice but to do those jobs. So but putting a movement on it and putting a name to it, you know what I'm saying, and making it a cause for people to rally behind. People love a cause to rally behind. You know what I'm saying? But not noticing the type of division
part of the program.
What division is going to cost for us as, and within that, yeah, that's facts.
Well, I want to respond to what you said, Shay, because even when you talk about the feminist movement and these different groups and stuff, there's a reason why they're being introduced, and it is because to cause a division. They need not just black people, they need everyone to be divided, because it causes confusion. You can't do anything in confusion. Like nobody knows who's on whose side. So I feel that the feminist movement actually helped with the Willie Lynch letters. And if you haven't read the Willie Lynch papers, it's a four pages. Just read it and just look at the splits, because they were splitting between old and young, men and women, light and dark. It was completely a split because they needed to divide. And I think that's one of the things that we're dealing with right now, not just as a community, but as a society, that we're dealing with division. And I just to stay on topic about what we're talking about. I want to say the first step, again, to reiterate, is the first step is to get rid, like not get rid of your emotions, but release emotions in your thought process, in your critical thinking. You have to be able to think logically and follow the breadcrumbs. Because right now, in the situation that we are, especially in this era, in this year, in this time, they're saying all the quiet parts out loud. They're already telling us what they're going to do. They're already telling us the division that they're trying to sow. So if we just think logically, we can probably gain some footing. I know it's going to be kind of hard to do the second step for my second step, which is bring back the men. But even if we don't do that, I want to bring logical thinking. And second step will be understanding. And understanding that has nothing to do with acceptance. I just want to make that clear. Understanding is literally just understanding. Like, I see where you're coming from. All right, cool. I see your background. All right, cool. And let's find a compromise in that. And that will be my third step. It's to find some type of understanding. But yeah,
How do you compromise with your opponent?
you try your hardest to find a common ground. Like me being a conservative, more conservative libertarian. I don't agree with Black Lives Matter at all. I think it's a stupid communist terroristic group that wants to destroy the Black family. But I can find a common ground with them when they say, nah, it shouldn't be no government mandated vaccines. So I can find a common ground there. Just like when we speak about when we speak about leaving the country and everything like that, I find a common ground with you on that with growing and trying to find like-minded individuals to go over there, because we can't just dip with crazy people who's over here with this mind frame that people have over here. Like, we have to find a common ground, even with situations like, let's say people on left and right, and they're talking about the school board. People are starting to find common ground. They won't tell you on the news, but people are starting to find common ground with saying, hey, guess what? You don't get to teach my kids whatever you want to teach them. Especially if you think that I'm not supposed to know. So it's a common ground thing. And we have to understand, as Black people, all people, we don't think alike. Me being a follower of Christ, I don't think the same way as everybody else who read the Bible. So we have to get that in our mentality. It's like, dude, I can still love you as my brother, even if we don't think alike. But we have to have some type of fundamental values that mesh. And that's the only thing. Like, us as Black people, we know for a fact that we went through a trying time in this country. We have that fundamental value. We have that same same foundation. Like, we know we are descendants from Negroes who made it, like, who lived through it. So we have to understand that we're not victims. We're survivors. We're warriors. We came into a land that wasn't ours, and we made it here. So I think that's the common ground that we have to remember. It's like, dude, we could have died. We're not even supposed to be here. And the only thing we have to do is be greater. And we're in a country right now that we were slaves, and there are more Black millionaires and billionaires here than anywhere else on the world. And we came from chattel slavery here, a perverted slavery. We strong. We just got to remember we strong. That's why they test us, because they know we strong, and they want us to forget that shit.
So I don't know exactly where to begin with that one, man. We here in America, we used to be slaves. We're not no more.
Nope. We're rich, nigga. We richer than the majority of the world.
You think that former slaves being in the best situation in the richest country on the planet is an accomplishment? I don't see it that way.
No, because that's a loaded question. I think that former slaves who gained their freedom in order to be in a situation where they're
now this is where I differ with you. You say who gained their freedom, and I don't think Black folks gained their freedom here in America. I don't see it. You not finna lock me up in the county jail and tell me I'm free, but I'm still walking around in this county jail.
So you ain't never
Just
seen no
because I
white
can
boy in
go
the
to the
county jail?
kitchen,
You ain't
just
never
because
seen
I
no
can
white
go
boy
to
in
the
the county jail?
warden's office, just because I can go to the courtyard wherever I want to,
I was
or
locked up
whatever.
with white people in Mississippi.
Just because I'm locked up, I mean, just because I'm goddamn, you tell me I'm free and I'm still inside the same place you had me locked up. That don't make sense to me.
If you're in jail, you're incarcerated. You're not free.
Right.
White people also be in jail. I don't know if you knew that.
I don't think you got my point.
White boys be in prison.
I don't think you got my point.
I didn't.
Okay, so ask me what I mean instead of just trying to rebuttal. Because what I'm saying is, if you are incarcerated, in captivity, in restraints, inside of a location,
Did you do a crime?
taken from one location.
Did you do a crime?
No, regardless of that. This is
No.
what I'm saying. Listen to what I'm saying. You're trying to make an argument without letting me build my point, bro. Listen to what I'm saying. If you are taken from one location by restraint to another location and held for a period of time, and the people say you are free to go, but you still in that location that you were held, in that same building, how in the hell are you free? Tell me. I that's what I'm trying to understand.
Well, technically, if you're still in that same building and you're held in there, you're not free. But
right. You're free to walk around the building, though. You're not constrained to your cell now, but you're free to walk around the building.
Let me finish answering. Now, in the United States, which is a landmass, are black people able to move around freely and roam to and fro between Maine and Alaska, Florida to Oregon? Are we able to move? Matter of fact, I just moved somewhere else, so I know I'm able to move where I want to.
You still didn't hear my argument.
No, I
don't
heard
think
your
you understand
argument.
my argument, bro. You still talking about moving around within the same place that you were held captive. You're free to move around the same territory that you were once captive in.
Quick question. Do black people leave this country to move to another country?
Individually, yeah.
Why are they not stopped?
Individually, one individual is not the talk. We talking about black people as a whole. See, that's the thing. Everybody keeps focusing on one black person being able to do something and attribute it to the whole, and like, well, why the whole ain't doing it? Why haven't the whole left yet? Why isn't the whole a billionaire?
I'm going to tell you right now. The Honorable Marcus Mosiah Garvey, during the 1920s, and this is during Franklin D. Roosevelt. Shay, I want you to look at Franklin D. Roosevelt and see the stupid stuff he did that affected black people, that constrained us. But he opened up not only trade routes, but the ability for black individuals to leave this country. Many black people left this country. He actually never left this country to go to Africa, but many black people left this country. And that was during the best time for black people, because there's no greater black leader than Marcus Garvey. Was he not free? Because he came from Jamaica here.
Jamaica is owned by the Queen of England.
It's not. You just said something that's not owned by America. But he came from Jamaica to here.
I said something that's not owned by America.
But what I'm saying is, you're saying America, we're captive here, but we're not.
No, I said we are still in the land of our captivity. How is that free? I didn't say we're still captive here. I said we're still in the land of our captivity.
Because you are free to leave here anytime you want.
Individually. I'm talking about the whole. That's the thing. I'm talking about the whole. I'm talking about all of African Americans.
That's the greatest thing about America, and that's why we stand, is because that we have individual rights.
So you choose to stay in the place of your captivity, regardless of if it's okay. So you choose to stay
individually.
You were a slave. How do you say you're free? You're free because you choose to stay under people that had you slave.
I'm free because
listen to how that sounds to me. I mean, it just logically makes no sense to call yourself free when you choose to stay under the people who held you as property and never change that status.
Because freedom is a mind frame.
And you choose to stay under the people
freely
that held you as property.
Yes.
And continue to call you property and to continue to call you property.
No, they don't call me property.
Go legally, look up what you are. You are property, my nigga. We can pull up the laws. I guarantee you, as a black man, you are property. Here.
And just like if I wanted to right now,
if I wanted to
right now,
you legally choose to be property.
I could book a ticket to whatever country I want to go to and go right now.
You got a passport?
I don't want to talk about all that, bro.
Who gave you that passport?
I can leave right now.
Who gave you that passport?
America. I can leave right now.
Exactly. So you had to ask America.
But I could leave right now.
You had to ask America.
But I can leave.
You gotta ask America though. You can leave, but you gotta ask for permission. And if America take away your passport, then what? You can't go nowhere, can you? Where you gonna go? And they can, if they want to, take away your passport. Then if you away and they cancel your passport or your passport is no longer renewed, how you gonna move around? In another
country? If I leave,
you're gonna apply for asylum in another
country. If I leave this country and I go somewhere else, that's probably gonna be where I want to stay. Like if I chose to leave this country.
I'm just saying from the perspective of being free. If you want to leave, you got to get a passport from America. In order to continue to move around
in any country,
unless you get a citizenship you don't have to get a passport to go to Ghana. Unless you get a citizenship to another country, you gonna have to get a passport renewed by America every time to stay abroad. And you're gonna have to make sure that you in good standings with America, because if they ask your ass to be extradited back here because you got to answer for a crime, you got to come back to the place where they say, hey, bring his ass back. So as a black man,
that's part of the surveillance state of the world.
As a black man
we can't
who was once
America
in captivity in a location, mentally choose to stay in that same location under those same people and believe that you're free. I don't see it. That's all I'm saying. I just don't see it.
If I'm able to move freely how I want to in this country and leave the country, I'm free, bro.
If the government say you can't cross state lines, can you cross state lines?
Yeah, I can, because the government doesn't own my rights.
They do. If you commit a felony, if you commit a felony, they can make it where you can't leave your state.
No, that's where people don't understand.
They can make it where you can't leave your state.
That's where people don't understand how to battle the government. Best believe, if I ever move around how I want to, like if I just want to do what I want to do, but me, I'm a homebody, so I don't really care. But best believe, if I ever go somewhere, like if I want to go to Alabama and they have no, you can't come over here because of this. Like even with the vaccine mandates, it's unconstitutional. My rights are not given to me by the government. These are God-given rights. That's why the Constitution was written under God-given rights. The government's job is not to protect me. It is not to tell me what to do. I give and I vote these people in government to hold up my rights. That's what I'm saying. Like if we really want to talk about steps, let's understand we have to think logically. Let's understand.
That's why I'm saying, bro. You don't understand where your standing is with the United States government and the agreements that you have that were made by your parents before you were even cognizant of what was going on. The whole point is when you got a birth certificate, your parents enters you into a contract with the United States government, and you are bound by that contract until you confirm or either you return that contract and that agreement. You are bound by it, and you don't know this.
No,
They're going to look at
I'm gonna tell
you.
what I do know.
They're going to look at you, and they're going to ignore everything you saying.
You're telling me stuff about bureaucrats. I don't care about
telling you about the
bureaucrats.
law, bro. I'm talking about
I
the
didn't
law.
vote for these people. I'm
Ain't
telling
about
you.
no. This is George
about what I'm
Washington.
saying.
Them. This is the forefather that we was talking
No,
about. This
they
is
didn't do that.
yes, they did, bro. Because everything that we deal with in the public realm is a
No,
contract.
you're telling me stuff. You're telling me stuff about my parents did this for me. Social Security wasn't instituted until the 20th century, so it wasn't George Washington. So don't do that,
Bro.
So I'm telling
George
you,
Washington implemented the Constitution, which is a contract. You have to accept the Constitution and the oath of the president.
You're talking past me.
I'm not talking past you, bro. I'm saying you don't understand things and concepts of the law.
I'm telling you, you don't understand things in context of history. George Washington didn't come up with Social Security, so
who
you
said
can't
he came up with
into
Social
the
Security?
argument when you're saying
who said he came up with Social Security, bro? I said he came
Franklin
up
D.
with
Roosevelt.
bro.
You
I said he
when
came up with he's the first president, right? He was the first president, was he not? So
Yes.
the whole point of the Constitution is a agreement between the American people and the president, who is the head of the federal government. So in order for you to goddamn be a United States citizen, you have to accept the contract of the Constitution. You have to. You cannot be a U.S. citizen and not accept that contract. This is one of the steps that they take on the path to citizenship. This is an agreement and an oath. This is why you take that oath, because the oath is acceptance of a contract. It is a binding agreement that you're entering into, and your parents got you into this without knowing what status they were putting you in.
Have you read the Constitution?
Yes.
Now, what clause in the Constitution? Because I have it right here by me.
What is the Constitution?
No. What clause in the Constitution are you telling me?
I didn't tell you not one clause in the Constitution. I asked you what is the Constitution.
The Constitution
I never once gave you a clause.
The Constitution is a document that tells what this country should run like.
Right.
It is pretty much the blueprint for America.
Right. Is it how does the Constitution become relevant?
After this thing called the Revolutionary War. 1776, the Constitution was signed in July 4th by a few delegates, and then August 2nd, it was signed by the rest of them. And it was to dictate how the country should be run, so we wouldn't run to the ground, just like how overseas in Europe and under the crown it was ran into the ground. This document is different than any other document. That's why I'm saying, like, when it comes down to us as a people, we have to literally educate ourselves. It isn't so much of everybody's against us. It's a thing that we just don't know. We have all these tools and we don't use it. Just like when people be like, oh, we should give up guns. Why should we give up guns? First of all, we're a minority in this country. Second of all, we have the right to bear arms by the Constitution. The little stupid thing right here, the little, and then they did this, and the people who tried to take our rights to bear arms to try to go against the Constitution, they did that because black people were free and we were getting guns.
Can I ask you a question? It was the Constitution that established the federal government, right?
Yes, it established a small federal government, not a large overreaching power.
How does the government get its power?
Well, then it got its power by the people who were voting in office, and
No,
They
I mean,
represent
like, what
the
is the
population,
specific term? The government receives its power through.
the people.
It's specific. Something it has to get something from the people though.
You tell me.
Consent,
So the people.
agreement,
Yeah.
a contract.
And what is it going
The
on right now?
Constitution is a contract. This is the highest form of law.
You just said consent by the people.
This is a contract. You have to accept the contract. That's consent. You have to give your consent. You have to accept the contract. We can't force it on you, or it's not freedom no more. You have to consent to it.
So if you consent to it, it's freedom.
That means you're under the contract now, and you're giving up certain freedoms for the agreement and the authority of this contract. So
I want to talk. Oh gosh! Now one day,
we as black people,
No.
we got look. We live by contracts as a black people and won't understand it. Word is bond. Shout it like everything we do is contracts. Every time we make an agreement, we gonna meet up tonight at 8:30. That's a contract. That's a bond. That's an agreement.
and I freely chose to agree with it.
It's a covenant.
By my freedom,
All I'm saying is
I
once
chose to agree with it.
all I'm saying
didn't
is
force
these
me
are
here.
contracts.
I agreed freely to do this.
That I never made that argument. I'm saying that these are contracts, and we need to understand contracts so we can understand our relationship with the government. If you don't understand what type of contract you're in with the government, then you don't know your status with them. And us as black people, we do not have the same contract as other people.
That's a lie. And
that is not a lie.
Matter of fact, because we done ran over your time, I want to talk about the Constitution next time, because I can literally go through this, like, honestly, because even when you talk about government, when the government was established in this country, it was a small government. The states govern themselves, and the federal government only checked in sometimes. The Federal Reserve, who dictates our money, they wasn't established until the 20th century. We've been doing good before this happened, before extra stuff. We're being ran by bureaucrats. We don't even, like, who voted for Dr. Fauci to tell us how to do our mask and shit? Nobody. He's one of the highest paid politicians now. So that's what I'm saying. When we can talk about the Constitution later, but just before I get off, I just want to reiterate what I feel. First steps is get rid of emotion when we're coming to the table, try to talk to these people. We have to come with logic. Second step, we have to build up families firsthand, bringing the men in. And my third step, understand and read about history. Read up. Get educated. We gotta read. God, I love reading. It is so much information. And one of the books I tell everybody to read right now is 1984 by George Orwell. And then after that, read Animal Farm by George Orwell.
Mid-Magic.
Oh yeah, Warrior Family Studios. Go watch TJ Evans show. All that good stuff. YouTube. Yeah. Shay Magic, what's happening? I know she said yeah.
Miss Magic.
I don't think she's here. She's here? Oh, she's in that draw?
Y'all can hear me.
Yeah.
Yeah, man.
Having a little.
You had a question for me, bro?
Nah, I just want to get your take on things, man, and see what you was pondering over there.
real disgusted when he said that we live in a great country in America and all that. I feel like if you really want to know, but I do get what you're saying, and what stuck out was we probably do need. I'm definitely gonna take some time to read up on the Constitution and see what like TJ just said as well, because it's possible that we don't know the agreement that we are in with this country, and we have the wrong expectations.
Thanks.
What I'm saying, based on that, and it was definitely good points in both of those realms. You know what I'm saying? I appreciate hearing all of that. Gave me something to.
Yeah.
So first step today, man, look into the Constitution laws.
No, first step is get
Contract.
rid of emotions. Think logic.
Yes.
I mean, once
That's
I
the first
think
step.
once
First step is
people
logic.
start taking that step and understanding law, it will help with a logical process,
You gotta
because
get your logic in.
law, when you're dealing with law, you gotta come with facts and evidence, and you gotta present your case, and that can't be an emotional thing. So it's definitely gonna be a hand in hand lesson with the two. I definitely can say they go hand in hand. Because to be a lawyer, man, you got to kill all emotions, man. You can't be in that courtroom feeling sad for folks when you about to get them 40 and 50 years, man. What the fuck?
No,
You're
right.
going to be out of a job real quick.
Heck yeah.
So, yeah, man. We get on the facts over feelings, man. I appreciate y'all
All the
stopping
time,
through,
man.
I think this was a good build. We got a first step. We came to a conclusion. We all had great points and ideas. I definitely want to get my sister on a little bit more, man. She got ain't be cut in and out, man. I know she got some shit to talk, man.
Yeah, man. But I want to hear what she had to say. But I appreciate you putting me on this platform all the time. I like kicking back, talking with y'all, man, for real.
And man, I'm just trying to do something, man, so we can really get some answers, man. I want to eventually get it to where we can start pushing some paperwork, man, so folks can actually see this shit in action and see how this shit works. How they like just being able to get shit done, man. Like knowing the law really it give you opportunity to move at different levels that you are comfortable with. So even if the individual don't want to go to certain heights, they can know where to go. But you know what I mean? I would strive for the whole to always push for the highest of the heights. Yeah.
True. No, I'm gonna make sure like the next time I'm on with you, I'm gonna go ahead and have them links put up so you can throw them in the description box so people can do their own research, bro.
Yeah, man. Let's try to get the presentations and stuff, man, so we can have a little bit more information for folks who are entertained. We had a guest today. We had somebody who was watching the show. I appreciate the audience, man, coming through and chatting with us, bro. We appreciate the input, man, Mr. Brett Clark. So,
oh yeah, that's my homie, man.
Oh, okay. That what's up. That what's up, man.
You hold me down.
Hey, yeah, I definitely appreciate that, man. That's what we want, though, man. Try to get more just local input, man. Cause we not everybody. You feel me? Our opinions vary so much. Just imagine what you know what I mean gonna be when we definitely just engage with, like you say, 1,000 black folks, TJ.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So
let's see what happens, man. Let's make sure the conversations is like how it is. Conversations, man. We talk and we try to figure something out, man.
Facts, man. Facts over feelings, man. All right, family, man. I appreciate it, man. One love.
All right, one love, man. Stay up.